Hi, Jamsters. Sorry to do that to you, to leave you with a cliffhanger, but it was it was a little bit of a long video, so I had to find a moment in the video, in the audio, where I could stop it, and that sort of happened near halfway. So I just couldn't resist, and it wouldn't have made sense to actually cut it later. So I Yes, I was a bit of a cheeky jammy, and yes, I did leave you with a very suspenseful ending there. But I hope you'll forgive me, and our recollections may vary. And so please enjoy part two of our catch up.
The thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Do you know who knows Wallace Simpson?
No.
I'm pretty sure, and don't quote me on this, but when you just said that, the light bulb went on. Fergie has frequently spoken that she had two women in British history that she had studied.
Oh my God.
One was Queen Victoria, who, that's why Beatrice and Eugenie are called Beatrice and Eugenie, because they were both
my God.
from Queen Victoria's children.
Oh my
one
God.
was Victoria Eugenie and the other one was Princess Beatrice. And I am 90% sure that the second one is Wallace Simpson.
Oh my God. Recce, I have
that just clicked it, didn't it?
I have the biggest shivers running back down my spine. Oh my God.
That would explain a lot, wouldn't it?
It would explain a hell of a lot. It explains the makeup, explains the get up, the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's
explains where she heard it from.
She heard it from Fergie.
And interesting?
Who? Oh my God! And who does Fergie hate?
And who does Fergie talk to?
Oh yes. No, but seriously, well, let's put it the other way around. Who hated Fergie?
Well, Prince Philip did.
Yeah. And who are all these who are the attacks aimed at?
Yeah. Philip.
Recollections. Oh my God.
Uh-huh. And Philip hated Fergie because Philip loved Fergie. That's why Philip hated Fergie, because initially he was one of her biggest supporters. He loved her.
He was.
And it was when she caused problems that he said, "That's it, I'm done." And he washed his hands of her. And that's when he started, that's when it became known. He wanted nothing to do with her because he felt she had betrayed the family by putting them in a bad light.
Oh my God, you have just opened a portal.
Mm-hmm.
I
opened a few right there.
Who
is Lady C's contact?
How did she know? How did she know the Queen had cancer?
Mm-hmm. How did she know when she died?
So, are we looking at a ginger bus driver? This story, the whole story, could the engineer?
Yeah.
I've often thought the engineer might have been Doris Spielberg, but I don't think it's Doris Spielberg. I think it's Fergie Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Because here's the other thing. Andrew couldn't do it. It's not Andrew
way.
Because
he's too busy organizing the teddy bears on his bed.
Exactly. He's not that deep. He's not that thoughtful.
No.
But who benefits as long as, Andrew maintains status quo? Who's freaking still living with him?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, so who else does she hate? She hates Charles too.
Oh, and You know what? I think you're onto something
I
because
think so too.
all the spiritual, it's very interesting now because the spiritual stuff, the Nigeria, not the Nigeria, the spiritual, it's kind of like East, the fellowship. What's the call? The self-realization. Yeah. The fellowship, which is kind of Eastern and kind of the evil eye and and Santeria. Like there's Santeria, there's Hamza, there's some religious, there's all, and with Santeria comes all the Catholic symbolism as well, like the Christian symbolism. But on the other side of the fence, like on the other side of the pond, you have Wiccan and pagan religious kind of symbolism. We can't even go down the thing of Christian on their behalf because like they're just not, they promote the pagan more than the Christian.
Right.
So that's very interesting because I always thought, why did she start wearing the evil eye amulets? And who is she? She can't be protecting herself from Catherine. Right. There's no way known. There's no way known on my jam head that Catherine would be jealous of her.
And there's no way that Catherine would retaliate against anything. So there's nothing to fear. She's not a threat.
There's no fear. Catherine is a class act, and she really maintained her composure even when she was standing next to her.
And Catherine has never clapped back. Why?
Never clapped back.
So she is literally the least threatening to anything that Meghan does. She may be the thing she's most jealous of or envious of. Meghan is most envious of Catherine, but Catherine has never been a threat to Meghan. She's never undone her schemes. She's never undone her, anything.
This is very interesting because I just had a vision of the coronation because I thought, oh, wow, Ratbag has the balls to show up in London at the coronation. Right. But when he entered that church, the Abbey, he had a York behind him, a York to the in front of him. He walked in with the York. He walked in with the Yorks.
Yes, he did.
So Auntie was protecting him.
And who was going out to California when they were filming their net flops?
Who lends them the kid?
Yeah, and Portugal. And now they're going to Portugal to live as neighbors?
Portugal. So who gave Shapey?
I actually did a video, and now I kind of want to go back and redo it. I did a video. What if Fergie introduced them?
Well, yes, absolutely. Fergie was in Toronto in very early 2014 and so there's opportunities for them to have met very early in 2014, if not in 2013.
And I have been saying, you mentioned at the beginning that I've been looking at this Markle Foundation.
Yes.
And one of the things that gets me the most about it is that the Markle Foundation is clearly linked to the Aspen Institute, which we all know Harry is very involved in. So no matter what, Meghan is aware of it. Meghan has to be aware of the Markle Foundation because through the Aspen Institute, they're all the same freaking people.
Absolutely.
Why hasn't she claimed it? Like what? Because she's so honest and she won't lay claim to something that she has no entitlement to? Of course not. We know that she does it all the time.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she lie and say, oh, look, this is my people? Or say, these aren't my people, but they may as well have been. The fact that she has never spoken about it publicly, to me, is the most suspicious aspect of it.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
She hasn't done anything about it.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me of what's the one thing that Harry said in his book that everybody knows for a fact is a lie, that Meghan went in and met the Queen and asked who the man carrying her purse was.
Yeah, that's absolute BS.
Yeah, of course. But such complete denial of it's the same it's the same suspicion, right? You only flatly deny something that you're very aware of.
You know,
You want.
in Italian, like when you say that, like in Italian jokingly, like us young Italian, we have the Kumara. We always say if someone's a Kumara, like a not your godmother. Well, I suppose it is like a godmother, like your. But Kumaras are often, especially if they're from Sicily, where my dad's from, are really bitchy. Like they're real bitches.
Oh gosh!
And so that when you said, "Who is the man carrying the purse?" That is such a
say what
bitchy,
I think.
bitchy Kumara. Like that's his
bitch.
Okay.
He's a bitch, right?
Yeah. That's a bitchy thing to say because she knows exactly who it is.
Right.
But she's belittling him, like she's sort of he's got no importance. That's the message I got from that comment when I saw that was
Absolutely.
so you just couldn't resist being a bitch, like a bitchy Kamara, and like, who is that man? She knew exactly. As soon as I saw that, it's like if a Kamara was at a wedding and they said, "Who's that?" That she knows exactly who he is.
Right. But she's going to degrade him and demean him.
But
it's funny that you say, one of my very close friends.
Yes.
She has a very Italian grandmother. Well, she did. Yeah. Unfortunately, her grandmother has passed. But she said that her grandmother's favorite saying, and it sounds so much better in Italian, which unfortunately I can't say, but it translates to, "A bitch is always happy," because she will never accept not getting her way. So she's always happy.
Yes. The other Fergie thing, the bus driver, Fergie Spielberg, is now I'm starting the dots connect to this hunger to look like Diana, to come across as Diana, because if that's the case, Spielberg would have told her, now this is what we need to do. You need to start dressing like her and coming across. And that's why when she went to Africa,
she told her the perfume.
Yeah, she told her the perfume. She also told her Harry's little secret.
I'm sure she told her a lot of his secrets.
I think that Diana had told Fergie about. She was a little bit worried because down there in the nether regions there was a little bit of yes. So how did she know about that? Unless I'm pretty sure as mothers they would have had that conversation.
Oh my goodness. And do you remember in the late 80s, early 90s, there was always the comparison between Diana and Fergie.
Yeah.
And Fergie was always just a little frumpy, just a little bit wrinkled, just a little bit.
Yep.
And that created the, one was a villain and the other one was the hero, right?
Yeah.
That created the black and white of Diana is the ideal princess where she's always polished. She always has her suit set up. Her suits were always right. Her dress was always perfect. Her hair was always well done, coutoured. Whereas Fergie was supposed to be natural. And so she was usually, her fashion sense wasn't the best. Her clothes ended up, wrinkled after an hour.
Yeah.
Who does this sound like?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just going to write, I have to write these notes because this is really amazing. So before I forget, dress like Diana, but the dress like Diana, not only, it wasn't to attract Harry, because that's not sexually attractive to be like, pretend to be the mum. The dress like Diana is remind Charles. So who does Spielberg really detest? She doesn't like Charles.
Bingo.
So the attack was on Charles. It's not everyone. I think I know. I like to think that that Shapey was doing it to sort of trick Harry. But I think Auntie had already spoken to him And Auntie had said, this is what you need. You need to take this girl and you need to do this because, you're going to end up with nothing. But the other attack that I'm going to suggest to you, the reason why Shapey detests and has these attacks against Catherine is because I think in Spielberg's mind, this is a replica of Diana.
Yes. And a replica also of the dynamic in the media.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that was also a part of the goal. Let's create this same dynamic that came organically from the press between Diana and Fergie. Well, let's manufacture that.
Yes, that's right.
And wait a minute, you just said something that and then we went on to that. Hold on, what were you saying? You were talking about so also, how does this all benefit the ginger bus driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as everyone is complaining about Harry and Meghan, as long as Charles is worried about Harry and Meghan, as long as Harry and Meghan are the bad guys, people pay a little less attention to what Andrew is up to. And people pay a little less attention as to whether or not Charles is kicking Andrew out of the Royal Lodge.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Wow. This York family has been protecting Harry.
For their own benefits.
And that also makes, now the Catherine thing, oh my God, it's just this flashlight just went on Catherine.
Yeah.
So not only were, Catherine's got Shapey attacking her with dog biscuits and all these other things, but she also, I always knew there was something wrong with her, with Catherine and those two girls, especially Eugenie.
Yes.
Those
Absolutely.
naughty little, nasty girls.
Both those husbands, the one of them, the Portuguese one in Portugal, whatever. He's got that unassuming, kind of Dennis. I can't even say it. He looks like a little nerd. Like he's harmless.
Brooks
That's
Bank?
Eugenie's, him.
Yeah.
But when you go into it, he's a property manager for Portugal. He's involved in tequila with celebrities.
He's
what
involved.
What the hell is he doing? Yeah, he's got some really shady.
Well, there's another Spielberg connection with Eugenie. So if they met in 2000, I think I can't prove it. I've got a feeling they actually met in 2013, but I will go to early 2014. That obviously Spielberg met her and they said, "Hey, you're really nice. You're a really nice girl. We could actually employ you to look. I've got a nephew. I've got a nephew that needs some help." And so they met up and they went to Botswana and sort of had sex under the full moon, and then
in a tent.
In the open air.
Oh,
there's a picture of the bed out on the deck under the open sky, and that night, and while they were there was actually a penumbral new eclipse of the moon. I haven't told you. Yeah, so in that 2017, which was 20-year anniversary of Diana's death, very close to each other in the month of August was a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. And part of the magic, part of that magic is that, if you want to charge your tarot cards and stuff, is you perform these little rituals in the light of the full moon, right? But there is such a thing as a lunar orgasm, and that is if you really want to be supercharged and make your wishes and stuff come true, is you have sex in the light of the full moon, and you charge water. And there's actually a photo of Shapey with a cut bottle, a plastic bottle with water in it, and she's saluting. She's doing cheers to the setting sun as the sun sets. So she's got water, like a a goblet of water in her hand, ready for the full moon's light to charge the water. And what she would have done is she would have blessed herself. She would have doused themselves, sprinkled the charged moon water over them, and then they would have had sex. But the stupid thing is they actually took a photo of them on the bed out in the open, and they said they slept under the stars that night.
And when was that? That was in August?
August 2017.
What day? Do we know when?
There's nowhere is there any dates. But I know that very close to each other, in the middle of the month, there was the full moon, a very special full moon. It was an eclipse, a partial eclipse of the moon, which could be viewed from Central Africa, and there was also a solar eclipse.
And Diana was August 31st, right? That's when she died.
Yes, at the end of the month. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they came back to the UK. And for the very first time, the news headlines were, for the very first time, the Queen allowed a girlfriend to stay with them at Sandringham. And my thinking it's purely my thought, is that
they were already married.
Yeah, that act with the bracelets was some sort of commitment ceremony, and they had tried to. Well, I don't know if she can get pregnant. Like, I'm just thinking, but she would have made everyone think that act under the moon had attracted a whole lot of arche to their union. So maybe
here's the other thing. I'm just thinking through. Remember, I said, Fergie, I'm pretty sure she has written about Wallis Simpson before.
Yes.
But let's say I'm wrong about that. Okay. The other thing, though, is that she is very interested in the history of the royal family, and she has studied it. She could find out.
Yes.
So even if she hasn't done it already, which I think she has, I swear to God, I think that she has written about it, said, or in interviews, that she has absolutely looked into the Wallis Simpson and Edward VIII. Even if she didn't, the one thing that I say about Meghan is she could never do the research to find this shit up about
her. That's why it's so brilliant.
But Fergie could.
Yes, that's why it's so brilliant. You're right. You're absolutely right. And this is where, while we were chatting on Twitter last night, I just realised, I said to you, I knew that there was a whole collection of Wallis Simpson letters that she wrote to her mother and other people.
Right.
In one of the letters, and I saw it online and I just can't find it, Wallis Simpson said to her mother, "Listen, Mum, I'm getting divorced and I'm going to marry this." But I think it might have been her first husband, the second husband that she was talking about. And she's going, "Look, don't be worried."
Well, wait a minute. Was that Ernest? No, that was the one that she really loved.
Yes, when she married, I think it's when she married Ernest. I don't think this letter was related to David or Edward.
Right.
I think it was she was divorcing the first husband to marry Ernest. I think.
Right.
And she wrote to her mother and she goes, "Look, don't be worried. I really love, she wasn't actually too sure at the time, but Ernest had money. And she said, and she said, "Look, don't worry." And she goes, "I can reassure you that he's kind."
Right.
Now that you've talked about Fergie doing she has the ability to do the research. Fergie would have read the letters. Like, she would have, if she's done that research, she would know. And she would have said, "Hey, listen, like, just say that you're into him because he's kind."
Right.
And she would have gone, "That's God. That's brilliant. I'm going to look so humble."
Yep.
I'm going to look so relatable that, I'm not interested in him for a prince because he's a prince. I'm interested in him because he's a kind person who hates his brother and father.
And probably a lot more people than that, because I think he's got a lot of hate in him. But this, and anytime anything came up they had a quote-unquote expert to guide, not they, I should say Meghan, would have had Fergie as the resource to say, well, what should I do now? Do this. And you can kind of say, of all the things that we know about Fergie and her time in the royal family, it was she's kind of a train wreck in terms of, doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Every time she does the wrong thing at the right time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what Meghan's done? And so maybe she was getting her same advice from the same person who could make, a screw up out of something simple.
Yeah, and she's a terrible, terrible judge of character.
Exactly.
So, to meet up with Shapey and think that, this is a good idea.
And even things like, I've got lots of things going in my head right now. So even things like the Nagani Falazi, whatever, the woman who, right? Well, why would, how would Meghan have known to set that up? How would she know Hussey was going to be there? Like, these details, she had to have someone who was...
Yeah, oh my God, of course.
In order to set it up, she had to know Hussey would be there, this and that.
She needed a mole in the palace.
Yeah, and you're telling me that Meghan knew Princess Michael had a brooch that if she wore that brooch to something, she could make a big thing saying this is a racist symbol, the Blackamoor brooch or whatever. Meghan doesn't know this shit enough to make it. You know what I mean? They need someone who knows this family and knows this shit.
Yeah.
And that would be Fergie.
Meghan can't even be bothered wearing a petticoat.
Right, exactly. I mean, she wears strapless bras with things that make her tits look like, two little freaking light bulbs because she doesn't know how to get a proper undergarment. Absolutely. She's clueless. But Fergie knows this shit.
Oh, my God. Recollections, you are making me get goosebumps. Oh, my God.
Like I said, now I want to go back and redo that video that I
said.
Oh, my
God. I think we're...
I think it's even more.
We have discovered Spielberg. I think we have. Wow.
Because they needed someone on the inside. They needed someone who could research, who would research, who has the ability and who's smart enough to do, well, I shouldn't say smart enough. I think that Fergie is not too lazy to not bother with the research. Meghan is too lazy to do this. Meghan would never find out what Wallace Simpson wore in, 1932.
Yes. And where did Harry get the idea of half in, half out?
Well, yeah. And where did Harry think, let me do these faux royal tours?
Yes.
That was Edward VIII's plan to make Wallace seem like a queen. Of course, he ended up trying that with the German dictator from World War II, which was obviously a big blow up in his face. But Harry went the route of Nigeria, which is far less reason to take exception with Nigeria. He didn't choose, a horrific dictator to do it with. Yes. So it worked a little bit better than when Edward tried with, the man from Germany.
It's so interesting now because I always, as I say, just be careful what you put out into the universe. If it sort of be careful of self-fulfilling prophecies, etc. The more you put out into the universe, but it's very interesting that Charles met David, Edward the Eighth. He was very good friends with his uncle Louis, Dickie, right. And Dickie and David were very, very close.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yes, if you read The Traitor King, there's a chapter where they're in the Navy together. They're serving on a naval ship together, but because David's the Prince of he was the Prince of Wales. Right. He wasn't allowed. I don't think he was allowed to do much on the ship. He was just there, and so he would often call Dickie to come and stay with him. So Dickie actually wrote to his mother. There's letters where he writes, "Oh, we had a marvelous day, and I spent the night with David, in his room." But I don't think there's. Yeah, it was just. I'm not going to read. Yes, there's just.
There's a lot to go down there. I'm not. I don't know if I want to know.
Ask Wallace.
Dickie was an interesting character in and of himself.
What I was going to say is that Charles, obviously, the story of Charles turns out to be almost exactly the same as David, and the government prevented Wallace putting a crown on Wallace's head, but Charles got it.
Yeah, you told me that the other day. That's a scary path.
Yes, Charles, Camilla. They put the crown on Camilla's head, and they changed his mother's wishes, and they call her now the Queen, not the Queen Consort. So Charles got everything he wanted, but it's very, very similar to the story of David and Wallace. But now it's funny because Harry has done almost exactly the same thing, and not that she would ever become Queen, but
right.
The divorced. It's so.
The divorced American who caused him to give up not the throne but the royal life.
Yes, exactly.
And that for me, I don't know about anybody listening, I don't know about you, but Fergie is, to me, that was the light bulb, because all the things that I said in my head, but Meghan is too lazy to figure this out.
Yes, exactly.
That's the key.
Recollection.
It was always in my head. Who told her this?
Yes.
She didn't come up with this on her own.
You're giving me chills. Like so many people, I can't tell you. And now the Jamsters will hear that everyone's asked me, do you think she's clever enough? Is she really that smart? Could she have done it? And I sit there sometimes and I go, yeah, how did she pull that off? Oh my God, Recollections.
How did she? I mean, I get that she was, as a 10-year-old in the U.S. in California, she really loved Diana and she followed her and blah, 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 and watched the videos and watched all the stories and this and that. But I did too. I'm 10 years older than her. I did the same thing when I was a kid. I was one of the ones that are up at, 4 a.m. watching the royal wedding when I was when I was 10 years old. I did that, but I sure as hell didn't know that one day Diana closed a door, and that was a big thing because she closed the door, and that showed she was a down-to-earth princess or whatever nonsense that was, right?
Yes. And then
how did Meghan know to do that?
Yeah, no, she's in contact with Auntie.
Exactly. Because Auntie would know it, because Auntie was there for it, and Auntie remembers it, because it was the dichotomy of Diana good, Fergie bad, and so all that press, all of that. Wow. She knew it all. Who knew every single little incident so that Meghan could imitate it?
Exact. Oh my God! And now she's got now Auntie's got a palace in the UAE.
Yeah. And why are they still living together? I don't get it.
Well, who else is going to sleep with them?
Well, nobody's sleeping with. They're not sleeping with each other. Why are they still living together? I mean, the whole thing. And I think it's weird. I don't understand it. I think it's bizarre. But here's my other question, and maybe someone who is a part of the Commonwealth will understand this, because I don't. Whether Andrew lives in the Royal Lodge or not, what? If he moves out, are they going to stop paying for it? Of course not. They're still, what is he doing by living there? I mean, what's the big deal? They're still going to take care of the Royal Lodge. They're still going to house him somewhere else. So why is everybody all bent out of shape that Andrew is still in Royal Lodge?
Yeah. The biggest laugh for me, I mean, I don't know about, as I said to you, there's something going on with finances they're reorganizing finances, etc. But one thing I know definitely, when people say, oh, he's living at Royal Lodge, he can't afford it, they're going to turn off the gas, is like, there is no way in hell that guy has no money.
And even if he moved out tomorrow, okay, if he moves out tomorrow, are you telling me the royal family is going to turn off the gas and let the Royal Lodge fall into disrepair?
No.
They're going to upkeep it, just like they're going to upkeep it now, whether he has money or not.
No.
So
they need him.
That's paid for they need to maintain that property regardless of whether or not he's living there. So what's the big deal? What, are they going to are they going to not mow the lawn because Andrew's not living there? Of course not.
No, that's right.
What expense is it that he's there? If he's there, technically he's theoretically responsible for some of that maintenance. It takes the burden off of them.
And the thing is, if Andrew's off going to work, like if he is working and going to as an envoy and going to the Middle East on, trade, doing trade negotiations, why are all those documents locked? Why can't the taxpayers of the UK know what their envoy is doing, what they're working on, that should all be public knowledge, surely.
Well, you're talking to an American, right? Right now, the thing I'm looking forward to most in the coming days is that finally they will unlock the JFK things, and I'll finally know who built it. We've been paying, we're the taxpayers who have been waiting, 34, 50, 60 years to find out. So,
wow.
So trust me, that's you're preaching to the choir on that one.
Yes. Recollections, you know what? I feel very content with our conversation.
We've had a productive conversation.
We really have, because I had no idea that would take us down that route.
No, me neither.
Oh my God!
But it was a light bulb. It was a light bulb of her.
It really was
doing the research, and she's done it. And I am pretty sure. And like I said, even if I'm wrong and Fergie has not done the research, because I swear to God she has, but even if she hasn't, I know for a fact 110%. She once thought about writing a book about Queen Victoria.
Yes.
That's why the kids are named Eugenie and Beatrice.
Yes, exactly.
And if she would do that, she would do the same about Wallace if it served her purposes.
Yeah. And, with the Wallace, I just keep thinking, because Shafie can't resist. She can't resist, and she always takes things just that little bit too far.
Yep.
And by drawing so much attention to herself as Wallace Simpson, it's made Jam open his eyes and realize, you've dressed like her, you've done all this stuff, to upset Prince Philip and all that. But what you really kind of indicated to me is that you might be suffering the same syndrome that Wallace was. The fact that and that syndrome meant that she couldn't have children, and she had several operations. It's not proven, but it is a syndrome that does. It does. You do end up with much longer and thinner limbs, and a short and no waist, a short body with no waist. And so, if you put the two of them next to each other, they certainly have the physical appearances that are very similar. The only thing is, I have to say, is that Wallace was an exquisite dresser.
Right.
And even though she tried to make a waist, she still couldn't, but she looked impeccable.
But she also knew how to use fashion to accentuate what she needed to and hide what she didn't.
That's right.
Meggsy doesn't.
Meggsy.
But the other thing too, when you talk about that potential syndrome, why is it that the Markles can say one week, how would my dad ever know that she had a hysterectomy? Because Thomas Markle said last week, my father doesn't know whether or not she had a hysterectomy. Why would he know? The only person who ever said that is Trevor. How do they know there are no kids if they don't know that she had a hysterectomy? How do they know that she picked up frozen eggs when they're not in contact with her? But what if they know she couldn't have kids because they know she had this, and so whatever story they come up with, they don't really know it doesn't really matter what story they come up with. They know she didn't have kids because they know that she has this syndrome. And they know she's not going to say you're wrong, because in order to say you're wrong, she would have to prove they're wrong, and she can't, and she knows that they know what the real problem is.
Mm. Do you recollections, I don't know if we should say this publicly, in terms of we might give them a heads up.
Right.
Well, that's true. I think
Cut that out.
I think I might ask you in private. I just had a thought, and it's to do with people playing both sides of the fence.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, there's a lot of things that you just said there.
I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's
the conversation we had on Twitter last night, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So how? Yes.
Three. Three.
The
triad.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my friend, I think if you allow me, I'm going to go and get ready for work.
Yes.
And can I just put my virtual arms around you and give you the biggest hug and say, that was amazing. I loved our conversation today.
This one could go viral. This one could
I loved it. That is amazing.
Because I certainly didn't see us going down here. Didn't we say like an hour ago, what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, what are we going to talk about today? Your magic.
We always come up with stuff.
I know.
We always come up with good stuff.
I loved it. All right, my friend. Well, let's leave it there. And
have a great day at work.
Yes, thank you very much. And we'll have to catch up soon again.
Yes, and let me know when you're going to post this.
Yes, I will, definitely.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right,
well,
Recollections.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.